and that'll give them the best chance at taking this match.
I mean, Infinite right now technically has the faster personal best in this category by about about 3 minutes. So you actually expect him to have a bit of the edge. But we'll see as this match gets a bit underway right now. My timer's at 15, 16, 17. You want to sync up 19,
Yeah,
20.
we're good.
All right, good. And as we see in this first match, Jake throwing down a 5 chain and some combos, so he's gonna get cleared on immediately, and Infinite will get cleared on immediately as well. So these players will get off to some struggles in this very first stage, especially as Infinite has not completely topped off Gary there for a little bit. The way this mode usually wants to play out, you usually want to send a mix of combos and chains. Oh no, Jake! Oh no, that's gonna be a bit of a setback for him. But in any case, you usually want to start with the combos, a mix of combos and chains, just to stack the opponent's board as high as possible. Infinite finally getting through that Gary there, while Jake restarting his. Forky, what have you found is like the best approach to this mode?
You know, it's pretty interesting coming from. I used to do attempts on this back in the day, as I've held the record, I guess, a couple of times. But I don't think I really implemented proper strats until the tournament. And I'd say a lot of my views are pretty similar to yours, as in the beginning 8 stages, the AI plays slow enough to where you shouldn't really implement reset strats unless you screw up something pretty hard. So you just want to make sure you send enough garbage at the beginning, maybe not a chain too long to prevent a lot of screen shaking, but usually if you send that pretty quick with some 4 combos on the bottom, it can be a consistent kill most of the time. And then when you get towards the end of the very hard run, the last 8 opponents, that's when things maybe change up a little bit more, and you'll need to watch out for your timing just a little bit and maybe do more strats compared to SR.
Yeah. You mentioned the reset strat. We'll have to keep an eye on how many resets we get throughout this match, as Chain decided to go ahead and reset on Misty. I don't know if a reset would be warranted that early on, considering how slow these opponents move. But if you're not doing all that well, maybe you just need a fresh start to get something that can actually work for you. But Jake here is spending quite a long time on this Brock himself. Finally gonna get through it in a minute and 9. So it seems like early on we might be getting a bit of a contrast of styles. Chain finally getting through his Misty in 40 seconds as Jake enters his Misty stage. But those resets are something we'll definitely be needing to keep an eye on as this match progresses.
And like you said, it's not recommended really to do it right now, but it is really just player preference to try to get in a better mindset if you get off to a bad start, because I mean, you can just do that for about any mode. I mean, I super would recommend it for easy mode, but who knows? Sometimes you're doing so bad, and just that fresh restart just clears your mind, and sometimes you get off to a roll after that, as we're seeing both of them do right now. Chain with the sub 20 and Jake almost with the sub 20 there, and Jake just a little bit behind right now, but it's the beginning of the race. As we've seen with every race before this and the history of Puzzle League itself, no lead is ever safe.
I'm actually seeing a bit of a restraint from these two, from what my memory usually says that these two do. That they've actually limited their chains just a bit to a 6 chain, which feels like a good amount if you send enough combos. Nice 14 seconds on Chain's Erica. The good start continues for him, and Surge just continues to waste more of Jake's time. So he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, I guess they've been learning a little bit of restraint, but I guess that's what you kind of see with this tournament going on. We've had so many new times added to the leaderboards, old players coming back, and people, I feel like if they didn't learn a category properly before, were maybe looking at what they could do to improve. And with Chain, personally, I know, actually for both of these guys, I'm pretty sure they were just S-hard focused when they do speedruns of this game. And it's cool to see them how they actually learned very hard, because it is a very different category. Like, people might say there's all these different categories for Puzzle League, all these different difficulties. Why does it matter? You just gotta send as much as you can. Every single category is very different, believe it or not, and you gotta learn different strats for each one.
They do have their own quirks, even though those lower difficulties may not be the most fun to run. Sometimes they do make you think just a little bit differently. And let's see if this will. Oh, there it is. That will do it for Infinite's Koga. He gets to move on to the next stage in a minute 7. Meanwhile, Erica chaining off of Jake's garbage. This is always the risk you run into if you don't get these kills immediately. These opponents are fast enough that they can waste a little bit too much of your time. Oh, there's a loss from Jake. Just as Chain resets his Sabrina. So, yep, you have to wonder just how long we're going to be here at each of these stages.
It's very uncharacteristic from Jake. I know he's a person who really doesn't like put in too much practice for this, and I'm not even sure how much he's warmed up before this match. So he's got 2 deaths already in this run. He's got to shake a little bit of the nerves, jitters, whatever he has right now, because he's kind of been struggling a little bit, and he might get the kill here if this is good enough, and he will with that 20-second.
Good. Ooh, Sabrina just barely getting to that clear on Infinite's side. So that's a little more time gone from the clearing and the extra combos that Sabrina will undoubtedly be able to make. Let's see how this Koga starts for Jake. Not much of a chain to start, but there wasn't a whole lot to work with there either. So he's gonna have to regroup. Sabrina's still wasting time.
I guess a little fun fact, a little bit of what Cards mentioned earlier was Chain does have the better time for this category, but just in case you're wondering why Jake is ranked higher than Chain was one of the wildcard participants for this bracket. He didn't finish top 2 in his group. And funny enough, these two were in the same group, and Jake managed to beat him in hard mode. So this is a little bit of a run back from groups right now on a different difficulty, and Chain looking to get some redemption, and he's making a good job of it right now as he's going to be heading to Blaine now.
Yes, and also if my memory serves, Chain is also the lone remaining stick user in this tournament, representing the control stick for this game, which I couldn't imagine people playing this game with a stick, but here's Infinite showing us how it's done.
I'm always so impressed by that fact, just because I feel like with D-pad it's so much easier to do movements, and for a game like this you're constantly putting in up, down, left, right movements, and you got to reset to neutral every time you do that, unless you're holding it down to go a couple columns or rows at a time.
There's Jake finally done with Koga, and Chain getting through Blaine in 26 seconds. So now Chain's getting to the part of this run where these opponents get fast enough where you might want to change your tactics just a little bit. Okay, so there's looked like Chain was going to start with the 2-4 combos, just switch the wrong thing. Now he's gonna reset. And I can't blame him for that one. You get off to that bad a start, you're not gonna be able to top off these opponents, and you really want to top them off. Nice 18 seconds on Jake's Sabrina, so he'll get to move on. Chain starting with a slightly better attack, and then drops his chain, so he's resetting again. Again, these resets, you lose somewhere between like 20 and 30 seconds just to get back into the stage off of a reset. So too many of those, and you can start falling behind in your pace really fast.
As Cards mentioned, this is where the AI does typically spike up a little bit, and this is where I generally start complaining even more. Maybe not with the rest of the run, but with Tracy.
Of course, it's always gotta be Tracy with you. And now Jake is catching up a bit. He's starting on Tracy. And as Chain exits, so this lead is most definitely not safe. We still got quite a lot of run left to go. Ooh, looks like Jake broke up his chain there just a little bit prematurely. This follow-up might be enough, especially if Tracy continues to use up as much. Oh, that's not,
look at that pattern at the bottom.
Jake better have a good chain in store. I don't think he does, so that's gonna last a little while. Meanwhile, Infinite not liking his Team Rocket setup, he's gonna reset and try that one again.
Yeah, that was a moment on Jake's side. He actually had several opportunities to capitalize on that. Tracy had that initial big chain and was wasting a bunch of time, and Jake just got off to a little bit of a sluggish start. And even though he had all those clears lined up at the bottom, especially with those last 3 blocks being red, which like blew my mind a little bit, but even then, he only still had 2 rows of blocks at the bottom, and if he would have been topped off, he would have died.
All right, so Chain took a long time to get this chaining combos set up, and it doesn't look like he sent quite enough, so that's not gonna quite do it. But you generally want to start these matches. You want to start these stages with 2-4 combos, and when you start a chain with a combo, then the combo garbage from that chain will fall down first. And there's some points in the chain where the combo garbage will also fall, but I haven't quite finished my research into how all of that works. Oh, I wonder if Infinite's got enough here. Oh no! 2 lines and Rocket's gonna get it clear, and it looks like finally Tracy will give up to Jake. Now they're going to be back on the same stage once again. But yeah, the general idea is that you want to start with the 4 combo to get the 3 wide garbage block to fall first, and then get another 3 wide garbage block to fall right next to it. And because they're small, they will tend to separate from the rest of the stack on these uneven garbage stacks that these CPUs tend to develop, and you can kind of manipulate them just a little bit into some really goofy situations when you get it set up right. So that's what both of these players will ideally be trying to get on each single stage. Oh boy, this Infinite's Rocket is just 2 minutes and counting. I would not. I as much as I don't care for resets at this point, you would want to consider it. But usually when I consider resets, the game chooses for me, and Infinite's Rocket chose for him. Finally getting that forced kill at 2 minutes 21 seconds, and a minute forced kill for Jake. So both moving on to Giovanni at about the same time. This race continues to be close.
And I know we talk about the double 4 combo strats and how that's just like the go-to. It's almost necessary to learn when you're doing runs for this mode and S-Hard especially. But I wanted to ask you, as a person who probably has done the most experimentation in this game and this series in general, has there anything else that you've maybe considered in the back of your mind to try out for these modes? Or just maybe some theories that you thought of that maybe could work better?
I've been trying so many different things over the years. I've had ideas of making a bunch of repeatedly small chains as much as possible in order to send a bunch of garbage that minimizes the screen shake that your garbage makes, and make their opponent's stop timer from depleting, make their stop timer deplete faster. But you really have to be fast with that in order to make that work. The more I experiment, the more I tend to fail. So there's not much I've been able to find that actually works. The science in this game is still very much a mystery. So there's definitely room for innovation on that front. Now Chain moving on to Lorelei. Let's see how he starts this stage. Going very deliberately looking for a 4 combo setup, but he's got bail on it as Lorelei sends just a little bit of garbage on him. There's a 6 chain. That 6 chain is gonna be as good as he gets. Lorelei clearing the lone combo and running out of time. That's generally what's going to happen with this mode when you do things perfectly. You get the combo garbage down, they spend time clearing it off and not making any combos or chains, and then when they try to get up to the top of their play field to reduce their stack, they just run out of time. That is the kind of kill you want to see in this mode, and even the later opponents are a bit susceptible to that. Although now he's taking a long time to start the chain here on Bruno, and it's not going quite as well as he would like. Although if everything drops here, this looks good. There we go. There we go. As Richie finally gets Richie finally lets Jake through. 20 seconds on the Infinite's Bruno, looking really, really good to take this first race in this best of 3 for Infinite.
I can say this is probably a little bit of what we expected. We talked about Chain just having a little bit of the better time. And what it comes down to in very hard, if you don't have, let's say, 2 of the most top level players of the category, I think it comes down to someone who's consistent enough to just send the most garbage. And as the guy's name applies, he sends quite a lot of chains, including that 9-1 that just went off right now. So he's usually keeping his opponents topped off at all times.
He's really good at making chains, and that was enough to pin Gary 2 down. Now he's moving on to the final stage, Mewtwo, and Jake almost had the kill on Lorelei there. He just needed one more line. But let's see how Mewtwo goes here. Very good double 4 combo setup here. Not quite getting more to follow up. He's getting a bit of a medium-sized chain to follow up here. A nice 5. So you have to wonder. Okay, Mewtwo's lowering his stack. He's not going to get to this in time. He will not. At a gold split on Mewtwo for an Infinite Chain, and he will finish this first race with a race bot official time of 18 minutes 26 seconds. He takes a 1-0 lead.
That was a super solid run by him. We've seen a lot of sub-20s kind of early in the bracket, but we haven't seen too many afterwards, especially since half of our rounds are in SR'd right now. And Chain had a really solid ending at the end there, and like I mentioned, he just played well, sending enough garbage to almost every opponent, and that's why he won this race by a significant margin. Like 4 stages at the very end. Really good performance.
And it looks like Jake wants to continue this one out, if for no other reason than to try and warm up for how to get these kills in the later stages of this mode. It could very well be a good idea to get whatever jitters you might have been having earlier on out of the way, just so you can start from an open mind and a fresh, clean slate for the next match.
I will say Jake is the person that doesn't like to forfeit races unless something goes like severely wrong. I'm pretty sure for a while in SRL he didn't have any forfeits, but I think that's changed now. But he's definitely a pretty prideful person. He likes to finish off his runs, and for good reasons too, like you mentioned. And puts you in a little bit of a better mindset. You can get a feel of how the end opponent AIs are and how you should change your play up for next match, because Jake is definitely capable of taking these next 2 races to stay alive in the tournament. It's just a matter of fact of being consistent. As you can see right there, he did manage to finish off lower line 36.
Yeah. If a Jake can clean up his chain setups, not drop so many of his chains so early on in these rounds. Infinite's time was not unbeatable in that first match. Jake can certainly put together that kind of time. So if he just cleans up his opening setups a little bit, he is certainly not out of this match just yet. Oh, but Bruno does not want to make this one easy for Jake, not by any means. Jake slowly working on a chain from Bruno's garbage, not really filling Bruno's stack. That's a very dangerous spiral to run into at this point. Something you might want to consider resetting on.
Yeah, this is definitely a good time to do it. It's just so hard to build up garbage at this point, which he's doing a super good job, as I say that, with a 8-chain, almost a 9-chain there. But it takes a while for that to happen in the first place, because you just have that little amount of blocks and you gotta wait for the garbage on your screen to clear too, and sometimes that just takes forever. And now, with this position, yes, he does have Bruno topped off, but he just made that clear there, and this garbage block is big, so he's going to have a lot of time to react and keep whittling down at this.
Yeah, it's kind of the danger of making large garbage blocks from large chains, but if you need it to top off these opponents, you kind of have to. You're not left with much choice in the matter. Oh, but this part does get tough to watch. Doesn't seem to matter what mode it is. Anytime you run into this seemingly endless spiral of chaining and clearing and sending garbage and that getting chained and cleared, and that can definitely wear on you. As I'm sure several of you loyal viewers saw yesterday with my 6-minute Mewtwo S-Hard on that matchup with Flagelstan. So I certainly know the feel.
Yeah, that match was absolutely nuts. Like Mewtwo of course would be the one to do that, where you're unable to reset, just stroll you for 6 minutes, no big deal.
Oh, finally, Jake gets through Bruno. Let's see what Gary is going to throw at him. A 5 combo to start. That's probably the most convenient. Not quite getting up there fast enough to extend that chain. That chain really need to be extended just a little bit further. Oh, does Gary have anything left? Oh, lowering the stack right to that clear. That's a bit unfortunate. So sometimes you have to wonder if these opponents are even looking for that garbage clear, if they're just trying to lower their stack. Just happens. So unfortunate that way. Happens so often with this game.
Been glancing over a chain screen every once in a while. He's like been getting some quick kills just on the versus opponents over there.
He's practicing on level 8 speed against the opponent's standard level 4 speed. He's just practicing his quick kills. That's certainly a way to spend your downtime while waiting for the next race. And meanwhile, as this race continues with Jake toiling away at this minute-long Gary. Oh, this may... No, you got green. Nope. That's gonna get cleared. This does not look like there's much of an end in sight for Jake, but he's just trying to work through this, trying to work it off, and then hopefully he'll be in tip-top shape for the next race. Although Gary here is taking a long time to get something. Of course, yeah, that will definitely run you out of stop time when you're that off with your movements. So now Jake gets his first shot at Mewtwo, and hopefully it's his only shot. But he's not starting with he couldn't start with a 4 combo there. So he's probably gonna need to make this chain really big. I don't know if a 6 chain is gonna be enough. Oh boy, there's gonna be a lot of shake from the screen with this 6 chain garbage falling.
Yeah. And this is super unfortunate as well because Mewtwo had like just really tall 1 block wide stacks on each side. And that's like the perfect setup for the double 4 combo, and usually can lead to a kill. But just unfortunate, he started with no combos at the very beginning, so just the straight garbage block that was pretty big fell. So no separation and a lot of screen shaking. That's usually not the combo you want to see.
Yeah, at least Mewtwo appears to be depleting his stack now. This should take care of Mewtwo there, and Jake finally finishing his first run in a time of RaceBot official time of 27 minutes 10 seconds.
Okay, that was pretty bad. Like 10 minutes.
Jake is caught. His first words were, "That was pretty bad."
Yeah, as the stream heard a little bit there too. I thought he was using game audio only, but that doesn't matter anyway. So we get to hear Jake's thoughts on it, but that's all right. You can shake that off for the next race, and that's why I'm glad we have best of threes, because we've seen several people, just get off to that bad start one time, but make it up on the next race.
Yeah, we've definitely seen quite a few matches in this tournament go to a game 3, and I feel like these players might be close enough in skill level that we could see it. Jake, I think the main thing Jake was doing wrong in that run was that he wasn't quite starting his opening chains off long enough. He seemed to kept dropping them a bit prematurely, and like some slightly bigger chains at the start would probably help with his consistency just a bit. All right, we're getting this next race underway really soon.
So I guess my personal opinions on how the match went, I think sub 20 is definitely a good enough number to go for. I think Chain, he could improve on stuff, but I don't think it's necessary. I think if he repeats his gameplay, he's going to take this second game as well, because it is hard to get a sub 20 just for like anyone right now. And Jake just needs to practice on topping off just a little bit. He dropped several chains, mostly at the beginning. It looked like he adjusted pretty well and looks like he was warmed up towards the end of that run. So I'm expecting a lot closer of a match. We just got to pay attention to who's sending enough garbage or not.
For sure. It looks like both of the runners are finally ready, and as soon as the streams catch up, we will be able to get this second of this best of 3 underway. Just to signify a bit of the separation between these two, Chain has a personal best of 15 minutes and 11 seconds, and Jake has a best of 18 minutes 9 seconds. So that first race was within Jake's reach, but he's going to have to clean up his chains just a little bit more. But as plenty of matches have shown, personal bests do not really mean a whole lot in this tournament.
But yeah, we have the case of what I just described at the beginning too. Jake's gonna take a reset as Chain finishes his first match, but Chain did exactly what he needed to do there. Textbook with the double 4 combo. Gary eventually died. Jake was struggling sending garbage, and Gary was not topped off at all that entire time, and I think that's why Jake went for the reset. So a little bit of a common theme. Instead of dying this round, he just goes for the reset, but still it is a setback for redoing just the very first stage in the game.
At least he rebounded quite nicely with the 15, so he's got to feel better about that. Meanwhile, Chain here doesn't looks like he didn't make a good chain to start with, so his follow-up is going to have to get this job done, and Brock is just clearing all of the things here, so this one could last a while. I'm starting to like this setup for Jake. This may be what he needs to try and get back in this. Ooh, almost. So as he continues to fight through that Brock, let's see what Chain does with Misty. Oh, this looks like a really nice double 4 combo. Oh, can you make the chain bigger just a little bit? I was hoping he would make a green for a 5 chain, but he couldn't. But he went red instead and couldn't find anything. Oh.
Yeah, if he would have got that extra chain, Misty may have died there. She was 1 line away. I don't know if she had enough stop time to stay alive, but I guess you'll never be able to tell unless it happens.
It does get really hard to tell with these matches. You have to. Not only does this game force you to focus on what you're doing just to make sure you survive, but at the highest levels, you need to be able to keep an eye on what your opponents do in order to know when to drop garbage on these opponents. Timing ends up being a really important aspect of how fast these runs can go. And this chain for Jake, he's making it really big because he didn't start with a combo, but not starting with a combo could prove to be a slight issue. Fortunately, Misty had 2 really high stacks on both sides of her screen. She was just spending time trying to lower them and eventually ran out of time, so that's going to help Jake catch right back up to Chain as he starts his surge. I know his Infinite gets very, very deliberate about trying to set up 4 combos. Starting this one off very, very slowly, but he's gonna be getting close to what he wants. A little 7 chain there, probably a good call due to not making that many combos during the chain, but Surge keeping his stack evenly flat enough to clear all of the garbage there. So that's gonna last a bit longer. Surge barely running out of time.
Yeah, and
on that one.
Like you mentioned, he does take an appropriate amount of time, which I think can be good or bad. I think it is a lot more allowable in like the beginning of Very Hard. It just depends what your AI does with it, but since they move so slow, if it takes you just that little bit of extra time to get that set up, then usually it shouldn't waste too much more time. There are exceptions, of course. I think it hurts you towards the end of this run, and a lot on super hard, because you want to get your chain started as quick as you can, because the opponent's going to do exactly the same thing. And if you want the best timing that you possibly can do, you got to get started.
For sure. Looks like Chain to reset Erica after a really bad setup. Though thought maybe he would redeem himself there, but Erica keeping that stack nice and steady. Now both players are starting to get stuck on Erica's stages, though still a 28 for Infinite, certainly not a terrible time. But going back to what you said about the setup, even I'm finding myself occasionally spending a little extra time on the setups. Even in SR, I'm spending a little extra time getting for double 4 combos, because I do find them to be so important to get going in this game.
Yeah, I guess better safe to get the setup than risk going a little bit too fast and dropping your chain in general and leading to either a reset or just a really bad start. Chain,
okay, good.
Yeah, Chain barely.
No!
Oh, what did he just
He did
raise
it
his
again!
stack? Oh no!
This is not the first time he's done this tournament. He held the shoulder button just a little too long.
Oh, and because of that mistake, Jake's gonna take the lead too. He had the kill and everything, just got a little bit too antsy there, raising his stack.
Oh no! Oh man! Again, this is not the first time this has happened to Infinite. I hope it's the last, because that is quite a sucky way to go in a stage. At least he gets a 14 on the very next Koga. So that did not hurt him too much.
Yeah, he's got super good consistency even after that death, so it's not costing him too much time. He hasn't really let up this race or last race. Sure, he's behind right now, but it's still around the same pace as last run, because they're about to be, going sub 10 right into the halfway point of the run. So sometimes your end game can go a lot faster than your beginning game, which is the case for me when I do this category a lot.
I do wonder if Infinite's follow-up attack here is good enough. Looks like it's not. His first chain did not really go up to snuff on that one. Now both of these players are going to be spending a lot of time on this stage. Oh, Infinite is close to dying, and he just decides to wait it out and reset. And again, Jake will move on to the next stage as Infinite resets.
You'll notice that FFR Pro, otherwise known as Thomas, is...
Whew. Alright, let's see how Infinite starts this one. Yep, the calculated double 4 combo setup. There was a 4 chain there if he wanted to get it. Probably would have been a good idea with the size of Sabrina's stack. That one might last a little while for him, but Blaine looks like he's gonna take up a bit more of Jake's time as well. That's kind of the running theme for this game. It's not just very hard. It's not just super hard. And again, yeah, just both wasting a little bit of time. Just Sabrina losing in 35 to Infinite, and Blaine losing in 38 to Jake. So now they have stabilized. Now Jake has stabilized a bit of a one-stage lead, which, if this tournament has been any indication, no lead is safe. Especially this early. Ooh, and Blaine trying to go for the furthest left to clear on that garbage, and was just not going to get to it. So 15 for Infinite there, very nice. Yeah, these AI tend to go for the leftmost match that they can find. There was a green right there for Blaine to use if he wanted it, but no, he wanted the one on the left, and just ran out of time trying to get it. So this AI is a bit flawed. That allows this game to be as speedrunnable as it is. Because otherwise it'd be like Planet Puzzle League, and trying to play Plant Puzzle League for the DS this way is not that fun, believe me.
Yeah, if you think this game's frustrated for the versus com, you should try Planet Puzzle League, because then you'll just want to quit the game entirely after doing runs of the head.
Alright, finally! Finally, Tracy goofing up just a little bit too much, allowing Jake to move on in a minute for Meanwhile, Infinite's Tracy is finding all of the chains from the garbage. Those lag chains mean you only get multiple chains at essentially the same time. It's still not enough. A 101 for Infinite finally lets him move on, but I thought Tracy had built enough stop time for that. Apparently, I was wrong. So good for Infinite. And a six chain to start on Jake's Team Rocket. Although it looks like that's going to be easy enough for them to take care of. Meanwhile, Infinite here struggling a little bit to find a good second 4 combo to start with. He's not gonna find it, so he's gonna go without to the second 4 combo here. Might still work. Rocket spent a lot of time scrolling from one side of the field to the other. Figured they were gonna run out eventually. So that will let Infinite take the lead right back. Move on to Giovanni. Oh, Rocket still clearing. Oh, Rocket still clearing garbage, and Jake with yet another death for Jake. Can't be feeling great about that. Apparently, from his stream, he was trying some mid-air near frame perfect shenanigans. There it just was not done quite well enough. That's like either 1 frame or 2 or 3 frames, depending on what you're trying to do. Ooh, and that opening attack from Jake is not going to be enough either. Ooh, both of these stages are going to take quite the long time as these opponents continue to barely find chains off of each other's garbage. Looks like both of these players have been sending enough to keep these opponents topped off, and finally Team Rocket runs out of time for Jake, and that's gonna let Jake catch right back up to Infinite. As Infinite goes a minute and a half now on this Giovanni. Alright, let's see what this setup is for Jake. There's a 4 combo in a spot that might actually work, even though he didn't start his chain with a second one. It looks like it works. Oh, Jake spending a little extra time finding a 5 combo there. Not sure that was necessary, but at least he's surviving. And Infinite here going 2 minutes now on Giovanni, and wow, Jake's Giovanni just barely ran out of time trying to scroll to scan the field. Almost got that clear. Now Jake is getting back into this lead, and this, oh boy, Infinite. I probably would have reset on this Giovanni by now. This is taking a really long time.
Yeah, and he's just plopping chain after chain right now too. He's got so many blocks to work with, and the garbage blocks that are on Gio's screen right now are very small, so they're very easily cleared. So unless he gets into some lucky stack lowering mode right now, which I don't think is gonna happen, yeah, I would probably reset the stage too. 3 minutes is definitely long enough for me, and in this position, it's gonna probably go on for at least 30 seconds at the minimum.
Even as strict as I would be on resets, I would still reset on super hard after 2 minutes. So yeah, I would have noped out of this stage a long time ago. Richie giving Jake enough of a run for his money as that stage goes into the minute. But at least Jake is finding some lag chains. Lag chain, of course, is what you get when you make chains quicker than the normal sequence of making a match, then letting the matching panels pop, and then having them land into another chain. When you make them quicker than that, that's known as a lag chain. That's one of the better skills you would be encouraged to work on in order to really get good at this game. Oh, so finally, Jake is moving on to Lorelei. Let's see how this one goes. Not much of a chain to start there. Finally, 4 minutes 21 seconds later, Infinite finally finishes Giovanni. Maybe he can just shake that off and hope that his Richie goes a lot better than Jake's did.
Yeah,
although Lorelei's stack is a bit low. Oh, is she gonna get to that in time? She is not.
No, you're right. Just a little bit slow on that.
So that's gonna give Jake a bit of a 2-stage lead as Infinite resets yet again. This time with Richie.
I was gonna say right after Chain finished Geo, it wasn't too big of a deal since he was only down by 1 stage. But now that lead is 2 stages now. And especially if Jake gets a quick kill here, which he started pretty well with this chain, so it's possible. You don't want to see a lead this big at the end of the game, even though it basically is RNG the game. But, you know, try to get those consistent kills here at the end, which he might have just done.
Ooh,
yeah,
there
very
it
nice
is.
with the 28.
There it is. Bit of an unusual combo kill there. Actually, Richie having three lines to work with and not 3 lines to see and not fighting a match. Usually that's done with 1 or 2. So good for him. Let's see how he starts Lorelei here. Oh, good 4 combo set up here. Not the right way to keep that going, and he saw that and he's gonna try that one again. And then this Bruno minute and counting.
I know, doesn't it just pain you to see the long matches? You never want to wish it upon anyone. The only time I ever wish it is to see like a close match. So, in the back of my mind, I don't want Bruno to keep trolling, but it's nice to see Chain getting a chance to catch back up and make this a really close race at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to see a game 3. So I'm hoping Jake can fight through this and clutch it out. Although it looks like okay, Infinite making his chain really long here. Lorelei giving it another chance to get the kill set up. Looks like she's gonna be completely buried. That will do for that one.
I was gonna say he probably should have cut that off a little bit earlier, but Lorelei was still going for clears even after like dropping like 2 chains. She didn't raise her stack or anything, and then eventually bit the dust. As you could see, the whole screen was covered with garbage there, and now it's essentially a tie game as Jake's been struggling on Bruno here.
Whew, 231. Wow, that is quite the long one for that one. Oh, and Infinite must have messed up on his opening step and reset Bruno. So we're getting into these stages basically at the same exact time, one stage apart now. Infinite running out of time to try and close out this match right now. 5 chain starting for Jake. No combos at the start of that to speak of, so I don't expect that one to work anytime soon. Meanwhile, Infinite not quite topping off Bruno. Infinite kind of got his stack too low there, so he decided to give that one another shot. Let's see. Oh, Infinite's not okay. He did not want to start that with a not combo. So he very quickly pulled the trigger on the not letting that chain happen. Oh, and if Infinite can follow up here. Oh, that was almost it. Oh, Infinite had a chance to bury Bruno there, but he wasn't working on a chain at that time, so Bruno wasn't going to be topped off. So he decided to go ahead and reset that. I don't know if that was the best idea, but I don't know. This may be well only a 3 chain. Couldn't quite get anything there.
It looks like he's pretty all in on the reset strats right now, and I don't know if that's a little bit of panic, because this is a lot longer than last match, and he is only on stage 14. I think he's a person who does like to watch his opponent race, but even then, there's another reset there. You kind of just get a little bit flustered at this point of this race. It's 21 minutes in, you still have 3 stages to go. You're getting a little bit trolled, and then you know your opponent's either on the last stage or he's probably ahead of you at least. And then as Jake is going to be finishing this Gary, Chain's got to make something happen right now, or else we're going to be seeing a game 3.
Alright, Jake. Let's see how you perform with this Mewtwo. Who's not starting with a combo. That could come back to bite him. That 4 combo, I don't think that will quite work. Yeah, that spot. That usually only works if you start the chain with the combo. Oh, Mewtwo's not topped off either. Oh, Jake! Oh, okay. Jake scared me just a little bit. He was getting a little bit close to death there.
He had just enough stop time to survive that. There was a clear immediately there, and I guess he was just seeing something else. And sometimes that happens. There's a clear so obvious, I'd go back and watch replays of myself all the time. But yeah, luckily enough, he did get enough chain before that to delay the stop time for quite a while, as you see there. It seemed like it was forever.
Speaking of going forever, both of these stages our competitors are on are going over a minute. Ooh, Bruno's gonna last a bit longer there, but a Mewtwo running out of time, and Jake. Oh man, Jake's heart is racing as he realizes that he wins this second match, and his race bot time clocks in at 23 minutes 14 seconds, and just like that, we are going to game 3.
Just what you wanted, Carts. I'm pretty excited for this too. And I want to point out, I mentioned at the beginning, a sub 20 looks like it's going to be good enough to win the race, and both these guys got trolled for a little bit, so let's keep in mind for that third race, it looks like, just based on the pace of how the runs have been going, that sub 20 could be key. So you want to try to aim for a pace of that sorts.
I do have like both of these competitors really did not have their best runs here in this second race. So these players will both have things to work on for this rubber match. I do wonder what they're gonna have to try and find within themselves to make it work. This is for their tournament lives. Remember, this is losers bracket. The loser does go back to being a spectator for this tournament. So you have to wonder what's going through both of their minds at this point.
You just got to be calm, especially Jake just won the last match. He's feeling better, but he shouldn't let it get too much to his head. And then Chain's just got to shrug that one off. He had the potential of a really, really good first race. He just needs to carry that over into this third race. And I'm going to ask the people watching and cards as well, based on what you've seen today or what you know from either person, who do you think's the favorite, Jake or Chain? Let us know in chat. Cards, who do you think has the edge right now?
I know Jake's heart was absolutely pounding after that last race. He's kind of being calm in the chatting up with his stream about how that race went. I do wonder if I do wonder what Chain may be feeling that will potentially fuel him. I still think Chain's going to take this, but I feel like this last race may be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I think both have a really good chance, obviously, since they're 1-1. But let's make things a little bit even, I guess. Jake's my boy. He's got the momentum rolling right now. I'm going to pick him for this match. And I think we'll just see him move on. Higher seed usually prevails. Except a couple times in this tournament. Chain being the defier of one of those couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of picked Chain to make some noise in this tournament out of the double digit seeds. He better show me that he's got what it takes here. Because the next round is super hard. If he can just if Chain can get to that super hard portion of the bracket, like who knows what you're gonna be able to see from him at that point. But he's got one more hurdle that he needs to climb before getting here, and I wonder if Chain's going to be able to clean up to a. I don't know. Maybe he should work on his reset discipline a little bit, because I thought maybe he was sticking to certain stages just a little too long for my liking. It seemed like there were plenty of stages where he was getting the setups that he wanted, and when he was getting those setups, he was getting some really fast stages. It might be best for him to be a little more stringent on the stages that he decides to keep going with. I still think Chain will ultimately take this, but this last race could be a bit of a struggle for the both of them.
I guess the best thing I can offer here is it's good to implement new stuff, but I don't know if either one is listening or they're second guessing their strats. Just stay calm, stay with what you've been doing before. If you've had success with it before, keep trying to do that. Don't get flustered. Keep to your original game plan, and usually things will work out. And most of all, don't drop your chains. You gotta be consistent.
Yeah, don't drop those chains in the And looks like one of our competitors will step aside for a little bit to get a nice fresh drink of agua to refresh for this one. As intense as that last race was, it probably was best to step away for a few minutes and just clear your head.
I definitely always suggest that for a game 3, especially since very hard is a little bit harder than what we had in group rounds for hard. Usually you can crank out 3 games, but if you go to a game 3 in very hard, most likely you've been playing for an hour straight. And it's always good to get that refresher, and even later on in the super hard stages, it's kind of good to get a break after each one of those, because this game demands so much from you gameplay wise, and if you want good runs, you gotta focus pretty hard, and sometimes it's hard to do that for 20-30 minutes.
I know I tend to cut off my streams during the week of this game at like 2 hours, because I just cannot stay focused for that long. My body just will not take it. All right then, this rubber match, this win or go home match is finally underway. Jake starting off with a 6 combo and then going to a 4. Only a 4 chain. That's not going to top off Gary. Neither one really topping off Gary in this first stage. I wonder if there are any possible nerves getting to them. At least Jake is moving on with a 27. Oh, and Gary, and Infinite's Gary, still making clears. That one is going to last a while.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of blocks to work with right now. And he wasn't topped off immediately after that first amount of garbage that Chain sent. He'll probably get the follow-up here as Gary's cursor went severely to the bottom. But he had a lot of stop time to work with. If he had a quicker clear lined up, he could have delayed even longer. But Chain's going to manage to finish that out at 55 seconds, which isn't the worst thing in the world. And Jake has switched his pattern finally of not dying or resetting on Gary, so this could be a good thing for him. It's always nice to have a little bit of a lead or just to get that good start at the beginning. Makes you feel good, because I know whenever I have a bad Gary 1, it makes me just want to quit the run, and you can't quite do that in a race.
Alright, looks like Infinite's starting off with a decent setup here, going with a 6 chain with the 2 4 combos. That should take care of that. There we go. That's how you want to do a V hard stage. That is quite the textbook maneuver.
I want to see these guys break the total number of lead changes I've seen in a single race. We've had a couple where it was probably around 6 or 7, but let's see if we get this pattern right now. Each person has gotten a quick kill and kind of gotten hung up. It's really early to say right now, but Chain sent a very big chain here that's going to get cleared immediately by Misty. So this could be Jake's opportunity to make it a 3rd lead change already for this match.
That's kind of a disturbing trend I'm starting to find. Is that gonna be enough for Infinite's Misty? There it is, 32 there. But when these opponents are clearing the garbage that gets sent, there's something unfortunate. It's mostly from the opponents just getting those clears just as the garbage land. It's been a bit of an unfortunate thing I've seen from both of these players so far. It may just be coincidence, as they're both finally moving on to Surge. Jake starting off with 6 combo here. Not getting any other combos, running out of opportunities. Oh, this follow-up chain better be good, Jake. Nope, that's not gonna work. Now it does. It wasted a little bit of time there, but 20 seconds is still a really good time. An infinite resetting on that Surge. I thought maybe Surge would have been close to death if Infinite had him topped off. I'm not sure he would have. So now we're getting a separation of one stage. How's Jake going to handle this? Looks like he's got a 6 chain of a 7 chain. Oh, he's just going for a he's going for the biggest chain he can find. Oh, there we go. Erica running out of time finally, but that one made me slightly nervous.
Yeah, and as Cards mentioned, like at the very beginning of the stream, these guys are pretty heavily chain influenced. Like, if they get something going, usually they don't like to drop it. And like I always say with this game, you either go big or you go home.
Well, if these players don't go big enough, one of them will be going home at the end of this race, unless the unthinkable tie happens, and I doubt we'll be seeing a tie. That would be quite ridiculous. But oh, I don't know about this one. Okay, there we go. Koga running out of time. There, Surge finally running out of time for Infinite, and this 2-stage lead for Jake will continue to be maintained, but it's only a matter of time before things start swinging the other way, if this game has anything to say about it.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine a tie happening right now. I don't even think we've had a game within 5 seconds of the final time. We've had some, like, down-to-the-wire races on a lot of them, but...
Oh no, Infinite, not again!
Oh no, did he die?
Did it again! That accidental extra tapping of the shoulder button to raise the stack. You need to be comfortable with doing that in order to get more panels to increase your chain opportunities, but... sometimes you gotta show some restraint. And now Infinite again, starting to hit a bit of a wall. Ooh, starting to feel for him at this moment, though. Jake's not doing much better. Sabrina is not getting topped off, and he's primarily just dealing with garbage at the moment. This is probably one that would be worth resetting.
Give up? Oh, I'm gonna win.
Oh boy. Yeah, and both of these players struggling to top off either of these opponents. We may recommend certain ways of filling these opponents' stacks, but the first thing you need to do is fill that stack. If you don't do that, you have no chance of winning. Oh, finally, Erica decides to run out of time lowering her stack, and Infinite will be moving on to Koga. And it looks like here Sabrina's finally gonna run out of time. There, and about 2 minutes later, Jake will be moving on to Blaine. Both players spending a lot of time on those stages. Ooh, a 5 chain from an Infinite on Koga. That should be good eventually. Well, Koga's making chains, so that may ooh, that does work out. That one finally did work. I thought Koga's chains would have afforded a bit more stop time, but Infinite trying to mount that comeback.
And definitely very possible, only being at a 1-stage deficit right now. And this is, I think, very reminiscent of what the last race was. I mentioned they were about halfway through the entire run, going in at about sub 10, and with Jake getting trolled a little bit longer on Blaine, it's beginning to look like that pace again. So this late game is going to be so crucial, because if it's anything like last race, there's going to be a lot of time that can cause you to end up losing this race.
Ooh, Sabrina's got a lot to work with for Infinite, and Blaine barely running out of time for Jake getting back to about a 2-stage lead. This Sabrina is going to finally going to end after not getting any chains off the garbage like I expected her to get. But Infinite's hanging in there for sure. Still way too early to call this. Ooh, that chain dropped a bit early for Jake. He's not gonna like how this one ends. Meanwhile, Infinite starting off with a really, really nice smattering of 4 combos with this chain. He's gonna go ahead and make that a 7. Only the combo garbage came down, and that little stop time was enough for Infinite to get that 17-second kill on Blaine. Very, very nice.
I think
That
that's
kill-
the
yeah.
funniest looking kill that you can get when it's just a bunch of garbage. The only more silly kill than that is when the opponent actually, like, either raised their stack a little bit too high to kill themselves with no garbage block at the top, or they cleared garbage blocks to where there's none more left on the screen that's visible, and they end up dying from that.
Oh yes. These CPUs work in mysterious ways, and just like that, we are at the same stage once again. That sure did not take long. Ooh, Tracy barely getting that clear, but he's not getting any other clears for Jake. Jake finally moving on to Rocket. Infinite, meanwhile, resetting twice on this Tracy after a couple of seemingly bad starts setting up the chain. He's looking a lot better here, though. Got a couple 4 combos. He's extending this chain as long as he wants, essentially, living up to his billing as the Infinite Chain. Oh, now the screen shaking from it coming down, but this should work. There we go. Hook or by crook, whatever way you need to do it to get it to work. You gotta do it, and Infinite did that very nicely. And a 30-second rocket from Jake, trying to maintain his 1-stage lead in this middle portion of the game, which I find the mid game to be the most difficult, actually, because these opponents seem to fit a balance of, like, either moving too fast or just not being all that smart. Oh, hello, 18 seconds. That's what Infinite needed to get back into this. But yeah, these opponents seem to have a bit of a they're not quite slow enough to be beaten with the traditional methods, but they're not quite fast. They're not quite they're just fast enough to make a few extra things happen that you're not wanting to see.
How good are you?
Ooh, so another reset for Infinite. Jake's Giovanni going into the minute mark now. Alright, at least Infinite's getting off to a good start with
You're wasting my time.
this chain. A 4th chain only, though. He's gotta rely on a very good follow-up here. Let's see if Giovanni wastes enough time lowering the stack.
I'm gonna win.
And oh, Oh, two near misses on either side. This one could last a while. These Giovannis are not messing around. Oof. Jake's barely running out of time.
So many multiple instances on both screens, like you said. Jake does manage to get the kill there, and that's what you don't like to see at all. One of the worst things here. I think Chain might be able to get his kill upcoming right here too. So this is a super close race right now. We've seen not really more than a stage lead for this entire match, and both these guys showing they really, really want to stay in this tournament and win this third game. They are both performing super well, connecting on their chains, and just sending enough garbage when they need to, as we can see a pretty decent pace from both of them.
Ooh, this looks good. This looks good. Ooh, Richie. Richie exercising a little bit of lack of self-control there, as some of these opponents tend to do at this point. Very nice. Very nice. Like, I believe that was like 23 seconds or something from Jake. And meanwhile, Infinite's Richie getting to clear garbage, getting ready to make some chains off of garbage. So that one's going to be a while yet. A 6 chain from Jake on this Lorelei. With the 2-4 combos, and that will do it for that. 17 seconds. Looking really nice. Ooh, did Richie do too much? He sure did. That's a rather humorous use of the 5 combo. There we go. There we go. You don't usually get those kinds of kills that deep into a match, but more power to Chain for making that one work. 6 chain, 7, potentially an 8 chain for Jake. Ooh, well, looks like Jake might have potentially ran out of time just a little bit, but Bruno lowering his stack a bit too willy-nilly, and that will do for that one. Jake getting off to some really getting off a string of really nice combo-based quick kills. And he's starting to pull away from this one. Oh no! Oh no, Lorelei wasn't quite clearing everything at the bottom, and Infinite's strat just did not quite work. Oh no, he's not topped off either. Oh no! So close. Oh, Infinite better hurry or he's gonna run out of time. Okay, he's getting chains. He's gonna be fine. Oh, but Lorelei going second tier to make sure that she's going to be fine. That's a bit rude. And Gary here managing to get some chains off of the garbage. So Jake is going to be there for a while himself after seemingly getting some great kills on his last 3 stages. He has hit a wall. Although Gary is scrolling the screen in a bunch of places.
Looks like Chain's gonna return to his reset strats right now, and I hope he's not feeling a little bit panicked. That's when you usually start dropping some of your chains, because being down by 2 stages right now can make you a little bit worried, especially since it's the last game. But he's got plenty of time still. Jake's getting trolled on Gary, and he's going to be feeling the pressure as well. Both of these guys are not going to be playing perfect. You'll see mistakes from them for this being the 3rd game.
Ooh, Infinite might have it here. That he sent 8 chain to Lorelei. He's going to finally get through that one. Very nicely done. Sometimes you just got to make those chains really big in order to affect when they fall on the opponent. Again, timing can be such a critical aspect to how this game plays out, particularly in like very hard and super hard. Let's see how Infinite starts this Bruno. I see some 4 combos on the right. He's not going there, but he will be getting some going here. A little follow-up, and yeah, he did not start that one well, so he will reset again.
I sense you come.
I do wonder if Jake should have reset on this Gary like 2 minutes ago. Oh, Gary's just getting all of the chains. See a 5 chain for Infinite. That's all he's got, but maybe Bruno will do too much. Looks like he has. Bruno's not going to get to that near in time, and just like that, Infinite is back on the same stage as Jake. Jake's Gary 3 minutes and counting. Infinite has a chance to make a fresh start and potentially get to a combo quick kill on his own.
Yeah,
Oh, Gary, second tier. No, Gary, why? Why, Gary? You're so rude.
Gary's been a bit of a pain for Jake right now. He kind of had a good setup a little bit ago. He had like a couple gray garbage blocks that were separating a lot of his. And he didn't chain immediately off of any of those, but he managed to find clears just quick enough. And man, Chain's going to take the lead now. So just after a 3.5 minute Gary that's still going on for Jake, Chain's in position to take this race just like that.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Alright, Infinite, let's see what you got. Oh, this is a good start. This is a really, really good start. I see at least a 7 if he wants it. He's got an 8. Mewtwo's continuing to do stuff. That might work. That might work eventually.
I'm going to win.
Oh, Mewtwo's gonna have to go up, and he's not gonna make it! And there we go! Infinite Chain finishes with a race bot time of 20 minutes, 39 seconds. Oh, Infinite Chain will be moving on in this bracket to face the winner of Tayman and ShadowA91. And unfortunately for Jake, Mewtwo's gonna have to do a valiant effort, but he will have to watch the rest of this tournament from the sidelines.
Wow, what an incredible finish. You really don't see that happening. Jake just got trolled on Gary for so long, and Chain just made up those 4 stages like that. It was almost similar to what we saw yesterday, Cards, with your Mewtwo, but luckily you did manage to finish that off. Jake just couldn't get past Gary in enough time. He is on Mewtwo now, and he might be able to get the kill here pretty soon, but...
Oh, this looks... Yep, Mewtwo's not getting there in time. And 20 seconds later, and... oh, well, that Gary did Jake in, unfortunately. He will finish at a time of 21 minutes 44 seconds. That Gary just lost him all of that time. Bit unfortunate for Jake, but he sure did try his hardest in this tournament, and definitely put up a great showing. So congrats to Infinite Chain for moving on in this tournament, and commiserations to Jake for a well fought fight.
Wow, as the man who has been making upsets in the bracket, I wouldn't say we'd classify that as an upset, but just a lower seed putting in work. Chain is actually the only lower seed in this bracket to have beat a person seeded higher than him. And I'm sure he's going to look to continue that in the next round too, as it's going to be S-Hard, his specialty, and I'm excited to see what that's going to bring. In fact, we will bring up the brackets for that and see how that's looking for losers now. So, Chain manages to beat Jake, as we saw. We have 2 more matches that are going to be a little bit delayed due to some time constrictions, but we'll see Chain take on either the winner of Tayman and Shadow, and then we have Smart going to be taking on the winner of Lightning and Yume. Both going to be very anticipated, seeing how everyone adjust to S hard for the next round. But
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this loser bracket to see how that plays out. There are definitely quite a few intriguing matchups remaining.
I guess with that said, though, the man who played pretty well but just fell a little bit short there due to a troll at Gary at the end, we have Jake joining us on the commentator's desk. Jake, it sucks to see that end. How were you feeling when you were fighting Gary there?
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
I just like, I kept telling myself like he's gonna go down, just don't restart. It's bad luck is how I felt, so that's why I really didn't reset, because I was on a roll. Like I was feeling like I was on fire. Like
Oh,
my
yeah,
heart rate was pretty high up there.
Yeah, there were quite a few there were quite a few stages in that middle there, just like 20 seconds, 23 seconds, 18 seconds. You were really rattling off some good ones there.
I'm confident in my Mewtwo, and as you saw in the end there, Mewtwo, like, I don't know, he likes me. I never have problems with Mewtwo, but Gary is before Mewtwo, and that is a problem. And that was the problem for me.
Yeah, pretty insane, man. I mean, I guess overall, in groups and bracket combined, do you think you performed to what you wanted to do, or did you think you were going to make it just a little bit farther in this tournament?
Honestly, I thought I was going to go at least one more round, and it was really looking like that. I just didn't get off to a great start. Like at the very beginning, I was losing, and that was actually because my hands were cold. I literally didn't warm up. Like my hands needed to really actually warm up. I was making a lot of mistakes near the beginning and just not playing well, like at all. Like you could tell in that first game, like I just completely forgot about that. After it was over, I just like threw it out, like start new. And I know how well I'm capable of playing, as you saw in that last match. So that's what I was expecting to see throughout more of this match.
Well, we were glad to have you, and you made that one close along with some other matches that we saw from you. And we hope you had fun. We'll have more in the future. And as for me and Cards personally, since we've known each of us three for so long, it's glad to see you still stick around, Jake, and play this with us. So hope to see you in the future too, and maybe stick around and catch some of the matches later in bracket.
Yeah, hopefully if there's not already people commentating for the next match, I could be on there for that. That is tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I guess we can talk about that. We do have a booked lineup for that tomorrow. It's going to be myself and FFR Pro that's going to be on this channel as well, with a Montucky and Devilition Derby. But we still have plenty more matches, especially probably towards the latter of this coming week. We're going to have, I think, four, maybe 5 matches throughout the weekend, so I'd stick around for that. We're going to have a lot of action. But